Coming up on News 11, a teen from Clarence saves a man's life on vacation, a look at the Florida State University shooting, and an update on the cause of Pope Francis's death. All this and more, News 11 starts right now. Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Alex Matt.
And I'm Samantha Zotara. We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. The Village of Fredonia will start charging for the playground recreation program. It appears this concert series will get canceled this year as well. The Board of Trustees decided Monday to require a $20 fee for children who live in Fredonia and Pomfret. While the charge would be $25 for out-of-town children, the 2025 through 2026 budget, which trustees discussed Monday, does not include revenues from the fees. Treasurer Yurlissa Lebau was unwilling to include revenues from something that hasn't been formally approved yet. As for the summer concert series in Barker Commons, trustees cut its funding in the latest budget. Originally, the budget line was $5,000, and now it's down to only $500. Some board members said the program will not be canceled if someone can pay. However, others acknowledged that it will be tough to gather funding and book bands with summer just a couple months away.
For the third year, Lucky Lanes will host a fundraising event honoring the legacy of Timothy Ryan. Timothy Ryan was a Fredonia High School graduate who passed away on Christmas Eve of 2021 due to COVID. The Scotch Doubles Bowling fundraiser will take place on Friday, April 25th at 7:30 p.m. Participants will bowl 3 games, each with varying twists. For the first game, one partner bowls the first ball between their partner's legs. Partners then switch places for the second ball during the second game. Each partner will bowl with their non-dominant hand. In the third game, partners bowl their ball with 2 hands. Entrance fees start at $40 per team of 2, which includes 3 games bowled together and shoe rental. For more information on the event, contact Heidi Ann Powell at HeidiPowell73@yahoo.com.
The barn at Farmington Hollow is hosting a benefit to support Lakeview Corrections officers who recently were terminated. The fundraiser aims to provide financial relief and essential resources during this difficult transition. The event takes place on April 27th from noon to 6 p.m. at 7495 Farrington Hollow Road in Cherry Creek, Driveway B. Organizers say the goal is to lift some of the burden of these officers and their family are now facing. All proceeds will go directly to the affected officers to help cover urgent needs. Donations can be made at the event or by contacting the barn at Farrington Hollow. Community members are encouraged to show their support and stand with these families.
The Diocese of Buffalo has agreed to pay $150 million to settle over 800 sexual abuse claims. The deal follows years of negotiations, a 2020 bankruptcy filing. The settlement includes payments made up front and others on a tiered schedule. Exact timing and amounts remain unconfirmed. Most claim involved clergy, some with multiple allegations. Bishop Michael Fisher called the deal a milestone, saying it offers financial restitution, though it cannot erase the harm done. The diocese has also closed or merged dozens of parishes, citing abuse claims and declining membership. Some churches will stay open after successful appeals to the Vatican. A federal court hearing on the settlement is scheduled for Tuesday at 10 a.m. Survivors' lawyers say the next step is holding insurance companies accountable for their role.
The Broadway Market is a Buffalo staple, especially around Easter time. This past weekend, thousands of people hopped over to the market to get last-minute things for the holiday. Visitors were able to grab anything from butter, lambs, to kielbasa, to massive chocolate rabbits. The tradition within the market extends beyond the visitors. Many vendors have been vending at the market for decades. Camila Meats, a vendor at the market year-round, said, quote, "I've been here for 42 years. It's just a blessing. It's my second home," end quote. The market is well-loved from the city of Buffalo and continues to thrive years after year.
On Monday, a brewery on Exchange Street announced that they will be closing their doors for good. Sad Boys Brewing took to Instagram to announce the news. They noted that the closure was due to unforeseen circumstances. The company wrote on Instagram saying, quote, "We would like to thank all of our loyal patrons for the past 2 amazing years. It's not a goodbye, but it's I'll see you later. Cheers, the Sad Boy team," end quote. The brewery had first opened back in 2022 near Larkin Street and was known for their experimental brews.
The owner of a beloved bagel shop in East Aurora is honoring their late son by renaming their business to Jet's Bagels. 19-year-old Jet Heyman tragically passed away in November 2024 after being struck by a train on his way to work. Jet and his father, Dejan, co-founder of Aurora Bagels, out of their own home, working day and night to create the bagels. After the loss of Jet, the family knew they wanted to keep his name and memory alive. They decided to rebrand Aurora Bagels to Jet Bagels. Jet Bagels is still finalizing their post-Easter hours, but for now, it will be open all day at the Broadway Market in Buffalo.
17-year-old Brody Kaufman has been credited with saving a man's life during spring break in the Florida Keys. Kaufman was relaxing in a car when he received a text from his mother saying that a kayaker had flipped into the ocean and was being swept away by a powerful current. Being a junior volunteer firefighter with the Harris Hill Volunteer Fire Company, he quickly jumped into rescue mode. Kaufman borrowed ropes from a nearby fisherman and was able to secure the kayaker with help from those around him and drag the man towards safety. Emergency vehicles, including the Coast Guard, arrived shortly after the man was brought to shore. Witnesses described the scene as a, quote, "powerful example of ordinary citizens stepping up in a moment of crisis," end quote.
The City of Lockport Police Department is asking the community for help in locating a 14-year-old Kayleani Bolden. Kayleana was last seen leaving her home in Elmwood Avenue in Lockport on Saturday, April 19th in the afternoon. Since then, she has not returned home, but is believed to still be in the Lockport area. Kayleana is described as a female with black hair and brown eyes. She stands at 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 100 pounds. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is asked to call the City of Lockport Police Department at 716-433-780.
It's been a while since some school districts have used old school multiplication tables. Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz wants to change that. He recently introduced a legislation that would require students to memorize multiplication tables as part of the school's district's basic education program. While many states have been in talks of passing similar legislation, the only state that actually has is New Hampshire. Many who are opposed to this style of learning claim that it is just teaching students how to memorize something, not actually learn it. This new legislation comes a year after the state legislature approved legislation returning reading instructions to the phonics-based science of reading. With this new legislator, Dinowitz is hopeful that the state legislature will take a similar action when it comes to the portion of math instruction. And when we return, we will have your national stories. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
FSU students returned to campus Monday after a deadly shooting last week. Since a tragedy last Thursday, the campus has been cleared of evidence. Services have been held and a suspect has been identified. The suspect was identified as the son of a local sheriff and the investigation is ongoing. The university offered classes online to allow students more time to grieve and respect their hesitancy to come back to the classroom. Mandatory attendance was not announced to be waived in the original communications from the president. This was met with the outrage by student body, and attendance was changed to optional on Monday. Many students have expressed their disappointment, classes resuming only 3 days after the traumatic experience. There was an increase in police presence on campus on Monday, with senior lecturers saying, quote, "Police on every corner of the campus, it seems. Hard to look around and not see police presence," end quote. There are additional supports available on campus like counseling and therapy dogs. University President Richard McCullough expressed that he would like to allow students the opportunity to heal in community at classes or privately through online courses. Some classes, however, need to be in person, such as labs. Those will be coordinated between the professors and students directionally. Students know that this will have a lifelong effect on their mental health and are determined to keep community during this time. The FSU student body is taking advantage of mental health resources, speaking out about the injustices of gun violence, and hoping to continue their education.
A groundbreaking microscope at Harvard Medical School developed by a Russian scientist, Ksenia Petrova, has the potential to transform cancer imaging and treatment. However, a few weeks ago, Petrova was detained by ICE at Boston Airport, causing major complications in the future of the microscope and its ability to diagnose cancer. Petrova was the only scientist to understand the coding of the microscope, as she developed a majority of the computer scripts that the scope runs on. Petrova is now being held at ICE's Richwood Correctional Center in Monroe, Louisiana, where her deportation to Russia is pending. Petrova fears returning to her home country due to the risk of prosecution because of her protests against the war in Ukraine. Petrova's immigration hearing was held yesterday, but no more information has been released.
A Brigham Young University student from Japan discovered that his visa was reinstated last week after it has been abruptly revoked a few weeks earlier. Senguru Ada, who was a doctoral student and a father of 5, received a notice from government officials that his legal status was terminated because he was, quote, identified in criminal records check and or has had their visa revoked, end quote. His attorney, Adam Krayek, said Anda has no record aside from a few speeding tickets and a fishing-related citation. He believes that it likely mistakes terminated the visa. The reinstatement came as a surprise since no immigration official had reached out to Krayek. The Department of the Homeland Security did not elaborate on Anda's case due to, quote, privacy concerns and visa confidentiality, end quote.
The Trump administration's Justice Department is currently defending the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, before the Supreme Court. This defense comes in extreme contrast to his first term, where his administration sought to repeal the law in Congress and then refused to defend it in a major challenge brought by Republican-leaning states. Currently, the Affordable Care Law mandates certain preventative services, including cancer screenings, PrEP drugs to prevent HIV infections, and more, to be covered cost-free. Current Health and Sciences Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could shape these laws and requirements. Kennedy has already created some controversy in the health agency with mass layoffs and plans to consolidate the authorities with a new $20 billion plan known as Administration for a Healthy America. The government entity known as the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force first put into place the mandates that made certain no-cost sharing coverage available, and this past Monday, justices met to consider the legality of these mandates. The case is the current part of the latest wave of conservative legal attacks on the Affordable Care Act and puts the ability of millions of Americans to receive these preventative services at stake. A ruling in the government's favor would leave these mandates intact for now, but over time, it is unclear how these mandates could be changed both in court and under the control of Kennedy.
Harvard University is suing President Donald Trump's administration for threatening to withhold federal funding if the school did not comply with its list of demands. The lawsuit filed in Massachusetts federal court asks Judge to block the funding freeze from going into effect, arguing the move is, quote, unlawful and beyond the government's authority, end quote. In it, lawyers for the university argue that the administration is unlawful using billions of dollars in federal funding as, quote, leverage to gain control of academic decision-making at Harvard, end quote. They also allege that the funding freeze violates the First Amendment, flouts federal law, and threatens life-saving medical research. The lawsuit is the school's latest effort to push back against the administration's threats. The school asked a federal judge to declare the funding freeze unlawful, block it from taking effect, and enjoin the government unilaterally. Freezing funding without following the steps laid out by the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Trump administration has also cut funding at Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Princeton, and the University of Pennsylvania and Northwestern, with Harvard being the most high-profile and first university to explicitly refuse the government's demands.
Kristi Noem, who is the Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, had her bag stolen at a Washington restaurant on Sunday. Noem had $3,000 in cash in her bag, along with her passport, makeup bag, DHS, access card, apartment key, among other items. She was planning on treating her entire family, including her children and grandchildren, to Easter festivities. A man wearing a mask walked by the secretary's table and snatched her bag. The Secret Service is currently investigating the situation. And when we return, Jenna Polito joins us with our sports update, and we'll have your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun. The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
We're now joined by Jenna, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Jenna?
Thanks, Alex. The Blue Devils lacrosse team suffered a tough loss against SUNY Oneonta on Saturday. The final score was 20-6 in favor of Oneonta. Emma Cockrell and Sydney Bucco each scored 2 goals, while Megan Corrales and Miley Barron added a goal apiece. Goalie Ashley Manns had 9 saves for Fredonia. The Devils wrap up their season tonight with a conference contest at Morrisville. The Blue Devils track and field team traveled to Virginia this past weekend. For the men, highlights came from Stephen Hellberg, Sembel Koshi, and Kevin Moser, who finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively in the 500 meter. The Devils also finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the pole vault event. In terms of the women's events, standout performances came from Callie Hudson, who finished 2nd in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. The 4x400 team finishing 3rd with a time of 4 minutes and 30.9 seconds, and Hazel Bach finishing 4th in the 400 meter hurdles. The women's tennis team ended their season with an exciting victory over Brockport on Saturday afternoon. The final score was 5-4 in favor of Fredonia. Bernadette Jens was able to finish with a win in the #1 singles match. Lucy Previtt also came through with a tough win in the #2 singles match. At the end of the day, Sophie Olsen was able to pull out a win in the deciding match for the Devils. Fredonia finished with an overall record of 6-9. And now I'm going to hand it back over to Alex for our weather forecast. What do you have for us, Alex?
Thank you, Jenna. Today we saw a beautiful spring day with a low of 54 degrees and a high of 64. We saw the sun throughout the day with partly cloudy skies, and we have a 13% chance of seeing some rain tonight. Tomorrow it'll warm up quite a bit with a high of 71 and a low of 55 degrees. We will see the sun with some clouds throughout the day as well. And we have a 15% chance of rain at night. Unfortunately, we will see more rain this weekend, so stay tuned. And when we return, we have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward.
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
How
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Tributes around the globe have been pouring in after the death of Pope Francis at the age of 88. The Pope died in his residence at Casa Santa Marta, a guest house at the Vatican where he had resided since his appointment in 2013. The Vatican has reported the cause of death as heart failure and a stroke. His death opens debate about the future direction of the Catholic Church, and cardinals are expected to gather soon in Rome to elect his successor.
The Lebanese military has detained a group of individuals linked to firing rockets in Israel last month. Those detailed a number of Palestinians were involved in firing rockets in 2 separate attacks. These strikes resulted in severe retaliation of Israel on airstrikes on parts of Lebanon. The Lebanese army said a vehicle and other equipment used in the rocket attacks were confirmed, and the detainees were referred to judicial authorities.
The idyllic white Greek island Santorini has been facing major natural disasters. The island was originally formed due to a massive underwater explosion that released a vast crater on the surface of the water. However, scientists fear for the next explosion and worry how the current set of earthquakes will affect the island's longevity. A few weeks ago, around 11,000 Santorini residents were forced to evacuate the island due to a series of earthquakes. Professor Isabel Yu has been keeping a close eye on the tectonic plates that lay under the island to try and predict possible major disasters. Aside from the recent earthquakes, the last eruption was in 1950. However, there was a period of unrest around the plates in 2011. Yu hopes that with the proper monitoring, any highly dangerous eruptions can be mapped out and predicted before. For now, the island has begun to recover from the past set of earthquakes and are attempting to restore the beauty that is Santorini. And after the break, a look at Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, a recap on this year's Coachella, and an update on Hailey Bieber's current health status. We'll be right back.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office, all you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service, it takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
Ryan Gosling is set to embark on a journey to a galaxy far, far away in a new Star Wars movie. The Barbie star will join forces with director Shawn Levy for Star Wars Starfighter, slated for release in May of 2027. Set to begin production this fall, the movie will be set approximately 5 years after Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, released in 2019, but will sit outside the Skywalker story as a standalone film. Details of the film were announced at a Star Wars Celebration, a fan event in Japan, on Friday. The audience was shown a photo of Gosling's childhood Star Wars branded bedding before he told them he was dreaming about Star Wars before he even saw it. The Star Wars universe has massively expanded since Disney purchased the franchise in 2012, with the company commissioning a sequel trilogy to the original Skywalker storyline, as well as a series of spin-off films and series. Director Shawn Levy said, quote, Because you take on Star Wars, you take on something this beloved. It's intimidating, you're scared, you're nervous, you want to get it right. But we have a feeling that with this story, with this collaboration, we can get it right, end quote.
Coachella 2025 has come close, but not without several surprise guests and special collaborations. From Bernie Sanders introducing Clairo to Charli XCX being joined by Lorde, Billie Eilish, and Troye Sivan, Lady Gaga was also featured headlining with a 9-minute set where she performed Shallow and Bad Romance, Poker Face, and songs from her new album called Mayhem. Post Malone closed the festival, calling both Ed Sheeran and Jelly Roll to join him.
Hailey Bieber revealed that she has been dealing with a recurring health issue that has been previously left her, quote, nauseous and emotional, end quote. She shared on her Instagram story that she currently has 2 ovarian cysts. The star has previously opened up about dealing with ovarian cysts amid pregnancy rumors. Bieber has been very open about her health issues, even sharing about a heart surgery that led to a stroke-like symptoms a couple years ago. She has said that she doesn't have endometriosis or PCOS, but has gotten ovarian cysts a few times throughout her life. Now I'm going to toss it to Sam one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How does it look, Sam?
Thank you, Alex. Friday, we will see a high of 68 and a low of 48 degrees. Starting in the morning, we will see a 75% chance of rain. As we head into the afternoon, we will see scattered showers and thunderstorms. As we continue into the night, the showers and thunderstorms will continue, and we will see the rain lighten up overnight. Saturday, we will continue to see that rain in the morning with a 61% chance. But as we head into the day, it will warm up in a high of 51 and we will see a cloudy afternoon. As we head into the night, the temperature will drop down to 42 degrees and we will see some clouds but a clear night. Sunday, we will fortunately not see any rain and we will have a high of 55 degrees. We will see a sunny day with some clouds stopping by the afternoon. We will see more clouds at night as we drop down to 44 degrees. And that's all we have for your weather this week.
Now, I don't know about you, Sam, but I am so happy that this weather is getting warmer again. I feel like it's been cold for way too long.
Yeah, this is so true, Alex. I'm tired of the cold. I really am.
I'm tired of this. Why do we go to school here? No, I'm just kidding. I love it here. All right. That does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew. We'll be back next week.
And as always, thank you everyone watching at home. Have a great night.